Hi, and welcome to my studio. I am LNA. I am a music producer, musician, sound designer, Ableton Live certified trainer, and this is my home studio. I'm gonna take you around it and explain what is what. Let's get going. When designing the studio, I wanted to focus on creating a space that is, the main aim is creativity. For me, it needed to feel home and cozy like a living room, a place where I want to go to relax and feel inspired. How I done it? Having nature and plants around. So example, the fact that when I'm sitting in my chair, I can see birch trees outside of my window, or I can have balcony door open and go to the balcony if I want to. I have a lot of plants in here, so you can see that like nature is a big part of it. So nature is one part, but the second part is how all the gear and instruments, how I put them and where I put them in this room. So you can see that there's not much around the desk, and I'm gonna talk about the desk in a minute. Everything is out in open and ready to be played. That is, I think, one of the most key things about this, because we know how much inspiration literally goes to die if we need to set it up and use a lot of energy to put everything into working. No, I just want to take a cable, plug it in and start producing. Third thing about this studio is that obviously it's made for video creation as well. So now in every angle that I shoot, take pictures, video, it looks great. So that was obviously, as a content creator, that was a big part of this. So yeah. Let's talk about this desk and this area now. So we've been living in this new space about a couple months, and when we moved, I was thinking about studio desks a lot. I was thinking like, should I buy a new one? Should I buy a real studio desk made for studios? But I found a lot of issues with a lot of studio desks that are out there. Firstly, I like sitting my legs crossed, or I like having them like up on the chair. I rarely just kind of sit my legs wide open and just like straight back. Like that's not how I sit. That caused an issue. A lot of studio desks have instruments like synths and stuff under the table. I can't do that. So that was like a simple thing for me. But also, obviously for me, it's really important that I can lift it up. So this is a manual one. This is from IKEA. Obviously there's electronic ones, but this was cheap, so I didn't see what's the issue is. Like, I don't need a button. I can just do some manual labor. We're saving space because these Genelec speakers, which I have made a couple videos of, so I'm gonna link them down below if you want to learn more about them. They are okay to be next to the wall, which is amazing, obviously, because that saves a lot of space in this room. So I was considering to have separate speaker stands on the back of the table or the side of the table. But as soon as I tried that out, actually I didn't like it. That means that I could have maybe two screens, or I could fit a plant on the table, which would be nice, or other instruments. The issue was that then every time that I'm lifting the table up, I would also need to lift up the speakers on the separate stand. So I like the fact that this area is very empty. I can usually have my notes on this side, and then I have my push to on this side. So this is the controller that I use the most. So I want it on the desk all the time. And obviously I can have then a cup of tea or something and snacks and stuff on this side, which means that they're not gonna like fall over equipment even by accident. This stand is also from IKEA and it's separate. You can just buy it separately and put it on the desk. Under here I have my Scarlett 2i2 interface. I am planning currently to buy an interface that has more inputs and outputs that I can also use for live performance. So that is goal. I have my 2020 M1 MacBook Mini here, which I've been finding really useful. So I have a laptop that I use with live performance and everything, you know, portable. And then this one, this big machine is then to running all the sessions and everything. And then only put the plugins and stuff that I really need on the laptop and trying to just keep it empty. Lazy external hard drive. VSTs here, I have all my sessions, live sessions in here as well. Do all the YouTube stuff with this. So I think this is 4K and it has lasted for years. Obviously I need to maintenance it, so I need to make sure that I delete stuff and organize stuff once in a while. Obviously my Genelecs, beautiful Genelecs. And because of the Genelecs, they do make this the most professional studio I have ever had in my home. In here we have headphones, so I'm using III. I got them part of a sponsored video last year, but I've been using them so much and I'm actually really loving them. You can also use them wirelessly, and that has been extremely good in this space. Otherwise, I have plenty of microphones, but the ones that I probably use the most is this Shure KSM 8. I use this for live performance as well as when doing YouTube videos or other vocal performances. And then here I have Shure SM7B. And this one I have here attached to the arm because obviously if I do YouTube videos, podcast interviews, Zoom sessions, I just want to have something plugged in straight away that I don't need to change or set up or anything. I just have it here in the arm and I can just start using it whenever. This one needs just something to boost the signal. So under the desk I have Sub-Zero MB1, so it was quite cheap and cheerful. As a content creator, obviously, I do get some equipment and tools part of this job, so part of brand partnerships. I could have not afford many of these equipment without doing this as a job. So example, my Genelecs speakers or some of the synthesizers. And I'm a massive speaker for the fact that you do not need to have all the fanciest gears to make amazing music. So remember that the equipment and the gear is not what makes amazing music. You are the one who makes amazing music. And I wanted to be just really clear about the fact that some of this stuff is sponsored, but this chair is not. So this chair is Secret Lab Omega. I bought it a couple years back and it's been literally one of the favorite things I ever spent money on. And it reclines. Because when you listen to music in your studio, sometimes you just kind of need to have a little rest, have a little stretch, and just chill around and listen to the tunes you made. Cozy and comfortable, and this definitely helps. It's very comfy. And we're sitting many hours doing this job, so you need to take care of your bum and your back. So recommending this chair, definitely. Oh, there we go. So on the side of this desk here, I have adhesive hook, and that is for a jack cable. So it's always there just to being able to, quickly take a jack cable, plug it in for guitar, electric violin. Under the desk, I have cable rack from IKEA. When I lift the desk up, standing position, it means that all the cables kind of go together with the up and down with the desk, and they stay nice and neat. So when we go and look at the left side of the room, what we have there is still a lot of boxes. So I want you to picture a chest. I want like a wooden chest that can be used as a desk. I would love to have a modular synthesis situation going on the top of that. So picture it. It's still not happening because obviously modular synthesis is a very expensive hobby and I'm trying to get into it this year. So hopefully later this year I'm gonna have a chest and then modular on the top of it. I wanted an easy way of accessing cables and headphones. I bought this massive bag. It looks like a laundry bag or something, and it's perfect because it keeps them in a nice, neat circular position, and it just looks pretty as well. On the right side of the desk, I also have a microphone stand with Sontronics STC2. I have that always there on handy, and everything is ready to go for some vocal recording example. Nice to have a note stand nearby. For years I was just holding lyrics while I was singing, so now I can just put everything on the note stand and use that for notes. There is a little rack situation, a shelf, and that is where all my cables are. One section for power cables, then I have one for audio cables and computer cables, and then obviously pens, because we need a lot of pens in a studio. If you scroll into one of my first videos, like over 4 years ago, I did a song with a tin can, soup can, and that is the soup can, and I still have that in my studio. On the back wall of this studio, I have a nice, beautiful shelving. I have this amazing LED light as well, and this is where all my MIDI controllers and my little synthesizers and drum machines are. So it's a really, again, they are out and in display, so they're easy for me to access and start using straight away. Something I also need to keep is, of course, my first Ableton Live. Ableton Live 8. That was my first one, and I love having this CD here just to remind where everything started about 10 years ago. So in this shelving, I have a lot of tools that I absolutely love. I have my Archive LPD8, which I use a lot with light performance, Novation Launchpad X, which I mostly use when I go and do sound design gigs. My newest addition is the Casio, is this one, Casio VL Tone. It's very simple and it's quite cute little thing. The fun thing is that my husband is an antiques dealer, so he finds a lot of fun little tools, synthesizers. So this was one of the last finds that he found, and yeah, I'm lucky to have someone who finds a lot of used instruments all the time. Arturia Microprute, which I actually got as a Christmas gift from my husband, so again, best husband ever. I also have a Monogram CC controller, which I love using as an expression control. I did a couple of videos with them, but actually fell in love with the control. Joy Play MIDI controller. That one is quite new. They sent it to me, so I'm really lucky to be able to receive a thing like that, because it's been really fun to play with. It's quite still new, so I'm still figuring out how to get it into my workflow. I also have my Teenage Engineering pocket operators there, as well as my Korg Walker sample, which I also got as a Christmas gift from my husband. He has good gifts for me. On the bottom of the shelving, I have a lot of stuff like my lights, microphones, so that I can access them really fast. On the left side of that, I have my violin cases. So I have 2 violins now. I have one electronic violin and I have one acoustic violin, which is actually my grandfather's. So it's over 100 years old. So I love that so much. On the right side of the shelving, I have the suitcase organ. So it actually goes into a suitcase and I love that sound. So my latest single, Tea and Milk, had that organ in it as one of the main elements. So go and have a listen to how that sounds on the link down below, because it sounds amazing. I love that. And then under that is a LNA amplifier. It sounds really warm, a bit like very lo-fi, but in a warm, nice way. That was also from a car boot sale. I found that one for £15, I think. I have a video of me finding it, actually, like one of the first videos I made. Recently, another car boot sale find was £5 for this one. And this one is Yamaha Ports Sound PSS 460, and I was so surprised. So it was a little bit of a gamble to buy it from there, because you never know if they're going to actually work. So it was gamble worth playing, because it works and it sounds really cool, and it's a lot cooler than I thought. When it comes to my guitars and other instruments, I have very cheap and not that great bass, Blue Rock one. I just use it sometimes for getting down some bass lines and stuff, but then usually I convert those into MIDI and find some better bass sounds. But one day I would love to have a better bass. I also have a Chord electric guitar. It's great and it sounds really very perfect for atmospheric stuff, which is exactly what I love. So I love that one. I also have a Yamaha guitar, as well as a Sigma electroacoustic one, and that one is one of my favorite guitars. It's very sharp and very bright colored sound. I used to busk my money playing ukulele on the streets of Glasgow when I was 21-ish, and so I paid my rent with it, and my first ukulele ever. And you can see that tuners have been changed many times. not in the best condition anymore. This one has a very special place in my heart, this one. And then on the wall as well, I have electric violin, which is my newest addition, and I can't wait to buy some pedals for it and get those for electronic live performance as well as music productions. And on here above the keyboard, I've left some space. So right now I have my Nordrum 3 drum pad there. There is enough space for another synthesizer over the piano. Currently, I'm kind of shopping around and seeing which I want to get because I want something that is portable enough for live performances, but also obviously sounds like it has sounds that I like. So if you do have any suggestions for synth, for pedals, for modular, please link them all down below because that's the area that I'm gonna go for. What else? Oh yeah, obviously, let's go and talk about sound treatment. I did a video a couple years back together with GIK Acoustics, and they were beautiful people and they were amazing people to sponsor some acoustic paneling. So I got a couple diffusers as well as a couple of sound panels. So I have 2 panels on both of the walls, as well as I have 2 bass traps on the 2 front corners. Usually bass traps would be amazing on the back of the corners, but I have door and I have a balcony door on the other side. The good thing is that the GLM program on the Genelex is amazing for making sure that none of those frequencies are too much bother. So I've been kind of happy without even having bass traps on the back. The ceilings in these rooms are very high, and there is a mezzanine level just above this room, which is okay actually. Acoustically, this is pretty good sounding room. Instead of my big painting like in my old studio, I have the plants, which I love, and then I have some art. So these 2 paintings are near the window, which already is an art piece, just seeing those birch leaves there. These are my mom's paintings because she's an artist. They are paintings about being brave and stepping outside of your comfort zone and like going through that door that is presented to you. And there's another painting which is made by my friend Nurdan a long time ago, and I think it looks gorgeous and gives some feminine energy to this room, which I like. As soon as the first day I set everything up, I sat down by that organ, the suitcase organ, and I started creating tea and milk, and I made it in 2 days, literally still unpacking everything. And I think if that's not a sign of a good creative studio, then I don't know what is. I feel so excited and so creative in here, so very happy. Conversation about everything related to studios, music production, sound design, Ableton Live continues in my Patreon. These are my beautiful, beautiful Patreon people. So join our squirrel family. They're called squirrels. I'm not 100% sure why ever, because it just became a squirrel family out of squirrel sample apparently. So much fun in there. So join us from £1 a month. Lots of love, have a lovely creative time, and yeah, see you soon.